At the beginning of the war and even in several times in the past, the Israeli Defense Forces have always spoken about the fact that there is a wide Hamas tunnel network, and that exactly is what difficult to in fact target essentially. That's what Hamas says, that this is how the tunnel network of Hamas operates, involving schools, also involving the house of senior Hamas officials. The tunnel entrance essentially is in such a fashion that it becomes difficult to move around. The school is a part of it. Also, like I said, the senior officials of the Hamas group also, in fact, have the tunnel. And the Rantisi Hospital here, which the IDF says has the tunnel of the Hamas. Hamas infrastructure inside the Rantisi Hospital is what the IDF is looking at, and that is the problematic part in terms of bringing the Hamas down because of the wide terror tunnel network. In fact, the manner in which they dug out these tunnels in different parts of this particular region, and that's how the IDF tries to get to the Hamas, essentially by destroying these tunnel networks as well, and to stop their movement as far as possible. Geeta Mohan continues to be with us. Geeta, this has been the challenge from day one, isn't it? Even before the war actually began on the 7th of October. In the past as well, the IDF's prime focus has been on how to destroy these tunnels, essentially.
Well, that's right. And an impossible or a very tall ask for now to destroy the tunnels, given that the entire Gaza Strip has tunnels across the strip, the length and breadth of the strip. Having said that, yes, they have been saying that there are tunnels that exist under civilian establishments and hospitals that are used by Hamas, and therefore calling the hospitals as human shields. But that has not taken away from the fact that international community, including their own allies like the United States of America, are saying that hospitals should be spared. But Israel right now quite determined, and the fact that there's forward movement and momentum in taking over areas that were Hamas controlled is something that that Israeli forces, the IDF, is not now going to stop. They are going to go ahead with their operations. They are not going to relent under international pressure, and are looking at the decimation of Hamas, irrespective of what the cost is. The international community has been urging that civilian casualties is something that has become an area of concern. The conversations about proportionality continue, Sneha, but the visuals, every time they're taking over an area, they're putting out videos to show how every civilian area or hospital has tunnels dug in under the hospitals, which again are electrified through solar panels, have weapons cache there, as also areas that according to them they suspect were places where hostages were kept. The biggest concern, Sneha, right now is not just the decimation of or the goal is not just decimation of Hamas, but also release of the hostages. There is an absolute outcry back home in Israel, as also across the world, which says bring them back, which is bring the hostages back. So hostage crisis is something we'll have to look at. This comes just days after the big Islamic Arab summit that took place in Riyadh. Qatar is through back channels negotiating and mediating between Israel and Hamas to ensure that the hostage crisis comes to an end. So that certainly is one of the key areas. Every time they're going in, they also have to factor in where the hostages are being kept before they carry out their attacks and target areas, even if that is civilian area or, for that matter, Hamas-controlled areas where hostages could very well be kept.
I'm just going to come back to you in a moment from now. Geeta Mohan tracking all of those details. Pooja, in fact, gives us the details of the hospitals that have been attacked by Israel since the war began. Let's take a look at this report.
This is the Gaza Strip in green here. This is the map for you to understand where the area looks like. When we look at the Gaza Strip, there are a number of hospitals, specifically maternity and children's hospital as well, and they have now become the flashpoint. Rantisi Children's Hospital that I'm talking about here, this is the Gaza City area. That is where the tunnels maze have been shown, where, according to the IDF, hostages were kept. They have found evidence to know that there were, at least some time ago, there were some hostages and children who are being kept there. Al-Shifa Hospital is one of the main places, according to the IDF, where the Hamas commanders and Hamas operations are. And they know that a hospital will not be targeted. If it is targeted, the death toll, the heartbreaking images that will surface will clearly work against the IDF. So these are number of hospitals, including Al-Quds, the premises around where we saw the precision strikes that take place. According to IDF, they know that there are Hamas areas here. They've been requesting and urging the patients and the hospitals to try and move, try and evacuate. But many have said that they're unable to do so. It's not easy to evacuate from the hospitals too. So this has now become the fresh flashpoint for the toughest operation that the IDF says they have enough evidence to know. And even the USA has given out a statement to say they know about Hamas that does operate from underneath these hospitals.